Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tax Show for People Who Owe. I'm Dave.
And I'm Phil.
And today we're going to give you a warning. What is the warning, Phil?
Scams.
It's about scams. The IRS recently announced that there's been an uptick in tax-related scams impersonating the IRS to get your personal financial or tax-related information, or PII. So Phil, what is this term that the IRS is calling these tech scams?
Smishing.
Smishing. The IRS recently came out and said there's been a significant uptick in tax-related scams impersonating the IRS. Now, Phil, why do you think the move has been towards text instead of phishing, or the move towards smishing instead of phishing?
I think it makes sense, David. A lot of us are on our phones all day, and more people are using their phones in lieu of their computers, fax machines, and really they do business on their phones. So,
Apart from the IRS.
From the IRS, right now at least.
That's going to change.
And so it makes sense that the fraudsters and the bad actors are targeting people where they actually do a lot of their transactions, which is through their phones.
Yeah. So you, if you do owe taxes, you may be more apt to participate or fall for one of these scams because you're worried that you have to pay the IRS and they're coming out to get you. Is that right?
Absolutely. And the message could say, hey, David, you owe X amount of money. Please pay now or else, right? Or it can even be as mundane as, hey, there's an update on your IRS account. Log in here, right? To try to get your social security number or maybe your password to your real IRS account.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what it may look like or what they may be asking you for, trying to get your information. So Phil, what are some of the proactive steps that all taxpayers can take to try to avoid some of these scams?
Right, so knowledge is power, and understanding what you owe, whether you're in compliance or out of compliance, is a huge step in really identifying what are true messages. And first of all, you wouldn't get a text from the IRS, but what notices might be true and what are false, right? So signing up for an IRS account online is a very powerful first step someone could take.
Great point, but one thing we should point out is that IRS Online uses two-factor authentication.
Absolutely.
Which does what, Phil? Send a
text. But that text won't have a hyperlink. It'll give you like a 6-digit code so that you can plug that code when you're logging in.
So that's safe, everyone. And this is coming from the IRS, and you'll know because you're logging in and getting the text because you requested it.
Right. They won't ask you for your password or anything like that. So just trust your gut as usual and be smart about it. Okay.
So for those folks that do receive one of those texts, what can we do to help?
Right, other than not clicking on it, IRS does want you to report them to phishing at irs.gov. Again, that's phishing at irs.gov. And so they have people who will shut these bad actors down, and they have been successful in the past, but they really rely on taxpayers to provide the information so that they can track these down.
That's it. So the education piece we talked about earlier, you need to participate to help shut these scammers down. And the IRS has shut down massive call centers for the call campaigns in other countries who are trying to take money of good paying citizens, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we've actually had customers call us after this has happened. So let's talk about that, Phil. What options do we have, or what options do taxpayers have after they've been scammed and lost money?
If you lost money, typically we see a lot of payments being requested through gift cards or prepaid debit cards.
They'll request those
It's
types.
a little bit hard to recover those funds for sure. So I would treat it like any theft situation where you would file a police report. Maybe if you feel like your social security is out there, go to identitytheft.gov and follow the steps there. But there's very limited things to get that money back, unfortunately.
Yeah, in practice, it's very challenging to get any money back, proceeds back. So it's important that you're proactive and try to avoid this at all costs. So Phil, when I create an IRS online account, will that wake the IRS up and let them know where I'm at?
Contrary to popular belief, even back when there wasn't an IRS account, engaging with the IRS won't ever trigger enforcement. As usual, being proactive and staying knowledgeable is the most important thing here.
Well done, especially for taxpayers who owe. And if you do need any help or you're concerned about being a victim of a scam, you can always download our app and ask one of our agents for some help. We're available 24/7 and you can request help anytime you need. Phil, any last closing words for folks who may be worried about being scammed?
Yeah, like we said, do something, and in this case, create your IRS account online.
That's great advice. That concludes our show today, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in on Scams. We'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thank you for watching today. Please be sure to like
and subscribe
so you're up to date with all the information you need when you're taking on the IRS.
And as always, do something.